everybody, and welcome back to the 4-Star Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan DuPont, joined as always by Nick Nicole and Andrew Freeman. Ty had a last-minute emergency and had to take the evening off. We're just going to jump right in here, start talking about the Cubs a little bit. This episode, we're not going to really get into specifics because none of the specifics for anything have been any good, and it's just going to be the same stuff that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. So this is going to be a kind of more bigger picture episode. To recap, the Cubs lost 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, who it should have been an easy series to win. Did come back and sweep the Rockies, but then I just got the notification on my phone literally 30 seconds before we started recording here that they blew a 6-run lead against the Braves and lost 7-6. So woohoo. With all that being said, again, we're going to kind of focus on the bigger picture. We have 2 series left before the playoffs start, and they're not going to be easy ones. Again, we have the Braves, who are the best team in baseball right now, and the Brewers, who are, I think, the 3rd best team in the National League and have been tearing it up a little bit.
Well, look, the silver lining here is for that last series, since we lost today, I believe that means the Brewers clinched the division, which means they have nothing to play for. They can't catch.
They're at 88 wins. I know the Braves are now at 101, and I think the Dodgers are at
96.
96,
yeah.
So they're not going to catch them.
So they have nothing to play for, which is good for the Cubs because the Cubs are going to have something to play for. So I mean,
hopefully.
Yeah, we hope so. So maybe, we miss Brandon Woodruff or I don't know where their rotation's at right now. Who's the other? Corbin Burns. How did I forget Corbin Burns? But I don't know. But maybe they start resting guys, prepare them for the playoffs. That will really help the Cubs if it comes down to one of those last 3 games.
Well, the big problem for us is we do not hold the tiebreaker with any of the other teams that feasibly have a chance at getting that last wild card spot.
This is true.
It'd be the Reds, the Diamondbacks, and the Marlins.
Do we not have the tiebreaker on the Reds?
Nope.
Oh.
We do not hold any of the tiebreakers. We literally just need to have the better record.
That's fantastic. That's good to. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So I'm a little nervous. I mean, today was probably our best shot at winning a game against the Braves because we had Justin Steele on the mound, but he fell apart in the 6th inning, gave up 3 runs, and then Jose Cuas came in and gave up another 1 or 2. And Braves scored again in the bottom of the 8th, and Cubs lose.
That's,
bare minimum, they gotta bare minimum they gotta win both of these last 2 series. But I don't know. Braves is gonna be tough considering everything going on right now. And then the Brewers, you hope that the Brewers, like Nick said, you hope it's a case where they're resting guys, getting ready for the playoffs, and they just have nothing to play for. I mean, where are the Cubs at in the wild card position right now? Because last I checked, they were in the 3rd spot.
They are in the 3rd spot. They are a half game up on Miami right now. So my guess is Miami hasn't played yet. If Miami wins, Miami would jump them since Miami has the tiebreaker.
I believe Miami got rained out. The Diamondbacks are technically a half game ahead of us right now, but they're beating the White Sox 12-4, and that's going to be an easy rollover series. If the D-backs don't sweep the White Sox, something's wrong with this world. Padres-Giants is kind of a nice series because I think one of their it'd be the Padres elimination number is 1, the Giants elimination number is 2. So if the Padres win the series 2-1, they literally just took each other out of the playoffs. Reds beat Cleveland 11-7, and again, that's another one. Reds should have no problem with the Guardians. And I'm looking here, Marlins are playing the Mets, and that got postponed. So I mean, our problem is we're facing 2 of the toughest teams in the league, and all 3 of the other teams that we need to kind of fall apart right now have super easy opponents.
Look, like I said, I don't know if I said this on the podcast last week or if it was just in conversations I had with people, but at the beginning of the season, most Cubs fans that their reasonable expectation was meaningful games in September. We are in late September. The games are very meaningful, but man, if they miss the playoffs at this point, it's going to feel so disappointing. All those close losses, all those 1-run losses at the beginning of the year, all those wasted at bats that we gave to Eric Hosmer, Trey Mancini, who was the catcher that got Luis Torrens, Barnhart, all those wasted roster spots. Like it's going to come down to that. And we can point to that. We can point to all the pitchers with like ERAs over 6 that the Cubs made look like Cy Young candidates. It's going to be so many missed opportunities. I mean, that's just baseball sometimes, but it's going to feel so disappointing when really, I think if the front office made a more concerted effort to go for it this year, they would have had the division locked up 2 weeks ago.
I do want to say, shout out to Miles Mastrobuoni, that's a set of words I never thought would come out of my mouth. But in the second inning, he had an RBI single, and that put his stats up since coming back up to the big club at 9 for 17, hitting over 500. So he's actually taking this opportunity and running with it. His batting average is almost up to 250 on the year. And I know it's not a huge sample size, but he really has turned it around. If we were going through at bats that we shouldn't have been giving people early in the year, I wanted to give him a little credit because I know we harped on him very early in the season because he was doing bad, but really has turned it around. And he's actually had some meaningful at bats in September that have been positive, meaningful at bats. So I just want to give him a little bit of credit. I was trying to check. I don't think the Braves have released their pitcher for tomorrow. I know we got Tyone.
Yeah, they're about to clinch the 1 seed. So maybe.
Oh yeah, because the best the Dodgers can do, if the Dodgers lose tonight, the best they can do is tie the Braves. I'm not sure who holds the tiebreaker there.
That would very much help us too. If the Dodgers lose tonight, maybe they're waiting to see, okay, do we need to put a big gun out there tomorrow to just get the regular start?
Yeah. I really hope we can just pull a rabbit out of our hat here. I mean, that's the thing with this team is like we have these really good stretches and really bad stretches, but I think if you get down to it and apply some pressure, I mean, look at what Seiya Suzuki's been doing lately. It seems like other than our pitching staff, the bats actually, when you apply some pressure to them, they do perform. And again, we won the we won the series earlier in the season against the Braves. We won the series earlier in the season against the Dodgers. This team can beat anybody if we can make it to the playoffs. And so I'm not saying we're going to the World Series if we can clinch that wild card spot, but the games would at least be fun and interesting. And I don't think we get blown out, which is why I'm going to be really disappointed if we can't even sneak into the wild card here.
I mean, they still have the 3rd best run differential in the National League.
Right.
So that's generally more indicative of a team's play than their individual record. Man, I don't know how the Brewers keep constantly doing this. They always have this like middle of the road run differential at best, and they constantly overperform. It's so annoying. They can't keep getting away with it. It's crazy. Yeah, they're the Vikings of the MLB.
Oh man,
it's nuts. I mean, if there's anything we learned this year, though, is that this team makes literally 0 sense.
Yep.
And for all we know, they're going to sweep out for the rest of the season and get their way in. That's just every single time you expect them to win, they lose. Every time you expect them to lose, they win. It's a roller coaster with this group.
Really is. It really is. I am looking forward to next year. I'm hoping. I mean, there's been a lot of trade rumors going around that the Padres are looking to blow it all up. I saw on Twitter. I really need to get better at remembering who says these things, but somebody on Twitter said a likely trade scenario for Juan Soto, you would have to take Matt Carpenter and Jake Cronenworth along with Soto. And I'm like,
did they extend Soto? Because he should. If they didn't, he probably only has a year left on his deal. That seems high to me. I don't think they extended Soto. I don't think
Cubs next year, with how close they are, they have to be aggressive next year.
Also, I don't know if Soto's that much of a fit. I think we're fine on outfield /DH. I think you really need like that corner infield or like that top tier starting pitcher. I think I would make that a priority over Soto, as much as I do like Juan Soto.
And Shohei is not going back to the Angels. There is no way in. I mean, he's basically even come out and said it himself.
I mean, your top two priorities are Shohei and re-signing Bellinger, and then everything else after that is kind of falls into place. But I mean, we can get to that.
Well, let's see if we make the playoffs first before we start talking about the priorities. Right, we still got the playoffs, so let's stay positive, guys.
I just love how
we have to talk about the Bears next. Let's try to be a little bit positive before we get to that.
I just love how the Cubs are already running secure your postseason tickets. It's like, man, you are so close to not even having that. Like, what are we doing? But I don't know. You got to do what you got to do. It's a business in the end. So I get it. But I don't know. Is there anything else we really need to talk about with the Cubs? This has been a slide that we were not expecting.
Let's get this over with.
All right. So that'll be it on the Cubs again. Like I mentioned, we have 2 more games in Atlanta and then 3 games in Milwaukee, and that's the season, folks. So hopefully we'll be doing a postseason preview next week and not a wrap up, and I look forward to next season. But we'll definitely be watching very closely, and I'm sure one way or the other we'll be screaming about something. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the Bears. Like I said at the top of the show, I mean, there is no point in digging into what is wrong with this team. It's the same stuff that's been wrong with this team. They got their asses handed to them on national television in the afternoon slot on Fox against the Chiefs, 41-10. Thank God I had a baby shower to go to. Shout out Chris and Victoria. Congratulations. But thank God you guys had this baby shower. I had to be there at 1:00 and the game started at 1:30. I did not see a minute of it, and I could not be more happy because we didn't even score until the fourth quarter, right?
At halftime,
garbage time.
At halftime, I reached the point of just complete apathy. I just don't. It stopped hurting, and I just kind of wanted the Chiefs to run up the score and make it look as bad as possible. Put up, and they put in Blaine Gabbert, which I get, but like, come on, keep Mahomes in there and put up 70. I don't care. On this team deserves it.
I mean, the TV broadcast, like half the shots were of Taylor Swift celebrating at the game.
Most exciting thing going on. I mean, it's not a football game; it's a slaughter.
I saw a great. This was going around, but it was like someone, I forget who said this, but they related to this was like the high school game where you have homecoming and you intentionally schedule a bad team so that you can bring your hot girlfriend who everyone thinks that you didn't have a chance at to the game to cheer for you. That's exactly what it was.
It's what it felt like. It felt like when Alabama schedules, like, no disrespect to, I don't know, like Western Michigan or Northern Illinois, like one of those schools, like one of those group of 5 schools that just has no shot, and they, come down to Tuscaloosa. We'll show you a good time, and
we'll pay you some money to come here.
We'll pay you the money and then put 50 on you by halftime.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw a clip from Barstool Chicago, and they were talking about it, like, we literally were the worst team in the league last year. We had the number 1 overall pick, and somehow it feels like we're worse than we were last year.
We are worse.
We are worse than we were last year.
With an improved roster.
Which doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense if you recognize that the coaching is
atrocious.
Dog shit.
Well, and that's another thing I wanted to get to is, like, Matt Eberflus, you cannot be coming out and saying, like, yeah, this locker room's still tight. We're still working. Where? We've been in your system for 2 years, and it's gotten worse. He has the worst record out of any of the coaches we've had in the last since Lovie Smith.
It's
Matt Nagy's the only one with a winning record, and he got lucky with that 2018 defense. I mean, it's something needs to happen. I haven't heard anything from Kevin Warren or Ryan Poles about the performance of the team. But there's no accountability happening right now. It's just, we're going to get better. Just be along for the ride. It'll be okay. It's like, no, I want off of this right now.
I mean, we can get to all the drama that happened this week because that's
let's get to the drama.
Oh, I didn't even think about any of that.
The only heard from, like, Ryan Poles was that he had that press conference on, I think it was on Thursday, where he said, like, no one's panicking in the building. And when your GM has to say that no one's panicking, that means everyone's panicking.
Everything's fine, guys. Everything's fine. Don't worry. Exactly, we're not panicking. That. I'm not panicking. Are you panicking? I'm not panicking. Are you panicking? I'm not.
And, that's like, this is I have not seen a season go off the rails as quickly as this one has. It's insane. Less than a month ago, we were all optimists about this. We all did our predictions. We all had them around like 500, and now they may be
current state of the Bears at Hallis Hall.
Yeah.
This is fine.
This thing's fine.
And like now they're like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm already doing like my mock drafts, getting those started up, and just like thinking about how if they can get the first 2 picks in the draft next year, because Carolina looks like they're going to be really bad too.
You know what's insane? We have a 38% chance of getting the first overall pick next year between us and Carolina. It's atrocious. We are 3-point underdogs against a team that just lost 70-20.
Yeah, we can't do
at
that.
home.
Lines. I saw the lines before.
At home. I mean, it's God. I'm feeling Nick's supposed to be the old man yells at cloud guy in this group, and I am totally
at this point. He's defeated.
No, man. I told you I have reached the point of apathy. I just don't care anymore. I refuse for this team to give me an opportunity. I won't let this team give me an opportunity to get invested again and care. I can't get invested. I can't get excited about a quarterback prospect ever again. After we did that to Justin Fields, are you kidding me? Like, do you think I care if we get Caleb Williams? Do you think I care if we pair him up with Marvin Harrison Jr.? No, because you know what we're going to do after we fire Eberflus? We're going to bring in Matt Canada as the head coach and then bring in Brian Ferentz as the OC, because that's what the Bears freaking do. So I'm done. No, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to be calm, and I'm going to be apathetic. I do not care. Everyone can. It's too early to drop the F-bomb in the show, but everyone can fuck off.
Well, speaking of that, let's get into the drama of this week, because that was even a bigger story than I think than the actual game. The game in and of itself was bad, but everything that went down at Hallis Hall this week was just, I don't even know how to describe it. Insanity. Chaos.
Do we want to start with Justin calling out the coaches and then taking it back, the left tackle going on IR, or whatever the hell happened with the defensive coordinator? Let's
get the injuries out of the way first. I think that's the easiest thing to do. So, I mean, we did get some news. So Braxton Jones obviously did not play in week 3 against the Chiefs because he's on injury reserve with a neck injury. So I don't know if that's going to be season ending or not. It doesn't sound like it is, but Braxton Jones.
I heard 4 weeks, or is that just the minimum?
That's the minimum for IR. Okay, so it could be longer than that. It could just be 4 weeks. We don't know. Braxton Jones, another injury to the offensive line, which the offensive line just been musical chairs all off season, going into the season. Like, we're getting, I guess the only positive news to that is like Tevin Jenkins. It sounds like he's getting closer to getting back, but who knows? He may get injured just getting out of the shower one day. I mean, that's just, you can't rely on Tevin Jenkins at this point to stay on the football field. But yeah, Braxton Jones, I mean, that's a pretty significant loss. Like Larry Borum, I thought he looked fine against the Chiefs for what it's worth. But Braxton Jones, this is a big year for him. And it kind of stinks. I thought he was, outside of like some penalties and stuff like that, I thought he was doing some nice things out there. Looks a little bit better in pass pro. Sucks for him because this was a big year for him.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, he took some really bad penalties at really bad times, but
that's correctable though.
Yeah, it is correctable. And other than that, like, his pass protection was pretty good. He's probably the best pass protector on the team. I mean, I know you do your track in the trenches on thebearreport.com. Go check that out.
Shameless self-promotion.
It's not a self-promotion if I'm the one doing it.
You're related. It's close enough.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's all in the family.
Who else did we have hurt? Because it was basically a freaking CVS receipt.
Eddie Jackson, he's not injured reserve, but he's injured. He missed the game. I'm trying to think of
Tyreek Stevenson got concussed and a penalty on the same play.
Brisker got hurt during the game, which, by the way, all Jaquan Brisker does is talk trash and get hurt. He does nothing else well on the football field, it seems like, from what I've seen out there. Just, oh my gosh, dude, stop talking. You're not playing well and you're getting hurt every game. Just stop.
Kyler Gordon's still hurt, right?
Still hurt, still on IR. Yeah, there's a lot of injuries.
Justin Fields, I heard, got hurt in the game.
Yeah, that pissed me off during the game. The fact that he was
He clearly had his bell rung.
Yeah, that's one of those 1980s, like, you get your bell rung and the coaching staff's like, oh, don't care, go out there and play. Like,
DJ Moore was literally like pushing him off the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like he's not in the concussion report or anything, but like, it just at that point in the game, like, why
after what you saw with Tua last year, like, why would you even risk it, especially in this just blowout game when he's not even playing well anyway?
We need to fire everybody. This is just
let's go into the other drama though.
Let's get into it. Stuff. Andrew, do you want to take this or
let's do the Justin Fields. So Justin Fields on Wednesday. Speaking of Justin Fields, so he had some interesting comments to the media, and this came after, like, I think in the post game comments against Tampa, Matt Eberflus made some comments where we basically said, like, on that screen pass, if we all remember, where Eberflus was basically like, Justin Fields, we felt like that was an execution problem, not a play call problem, and Justin Fields has the ability to change the play call if he doesn't like the look, basically pointing at, like, it's not the play caller, Getsy being a dummy for calling 3 straight screens in the goal line. It's Justin Fields.
No, not 3 straight screens, the same screen 3 times in a row. Just want to clarify, but continue.
Yeah, and so you had all that, and then Justin Fields asked about his play on Wednesday. It was taken a bit out of context, I will say, and on social media, which is what, social media can do sometimes. But when he was asked, like, what's the issue with your play so far, he did say, like, coaching, and then he elaborated and basically said that, like, he's thinking too much out there. He's getting, over analyzing, maybe too much information. But he did say coaching was a factor in why his play has been bad so far. And he mentioned that he wanted to play a little bit more free, which, I mean, if that's Justin Fields playing more free, I mean, that doesn't really look very promising. But yeah, so that created a firestorm on Twitter, obviously, because that's what Bears Twitter does. And, Justin Fields did walk back his comments. He did call the media back to kind of clarify those and basically said it was taken out of context. But my takeaway on here is that, like, they can do all the Luke Getsy and Justin Fields hug videos at practice that they want to do. There's clearly a disconnect between the play caller and the quarterback.
I think you said the comments were taken out of context, which they kind of were, but I think part of the reason it also went so viral is that it sounded like he was saying what we can all obviously see, that they are trying to coach the instinct out of him. Like, we're not seeing the decide. Like last year during that stretch when he was playing well, when he saw an opportunity to run, he went for it. Now, I know he doesn't necessarily want to do that all the time, and that's what they're trying to work on, but he's very clearly, like, being coached to stay in the pocket, and, like, he's forcing himself to stay in and go through his progressions, and it's just not working. So
if I may, I do have a quote from Matt Eberflus that was shared in a Bleacher Nation article this morning, and it pissed me off so much, I screenshotted it. I don't know if you can actually see there. I literally screenshotted this whole thing so that I could share it. So this is Eberflus after the game Sunday, if I remember correctly. But yeah, he's been doing it, right? He's been doing it in terms of the work, and now we're going to see the fruits of the labor. He's just got to keep doing the things, the platform, the rhythm and timing, the things we've been discussing. I thought we did a good job in moving him out of the pocket yesterday. Had a couple quarterback design runs, couple run pass options, took those shots down the field. I thought those were really good. We got to capitalize on those. He did some things in Sunday's game, that looked how we wanted it to look. It's getting better. The fuck you mean it's getting better? You didn't score until the fourth quarter. Like, coaching.
I mean, technically, if you want to evaluate Justin Fields' performance, he did play better than he did in weeks 1 and 2.
He did play better, but
it's not good. It's still not good. And, I mean, look, they did try to implement the quarterback run game more. Like, you look at all their run plays to start the game, they were all quarterback option plays, and the Chiefs were sitting on it. They weren't letting Justin Fields keep it on those plays. That's basically what was going on.
Yeah.
So I guess you can credit Getsy for trying to get Justin Fields involved more on the run and get him moving and stuff like that. At the end of the day, though, if you can't win in the pocket, if you can't go through progressions, like, you're just not going to win in this league.
Yeah.
It's not, they don't have a functional passing game. And some of that is Getsy with this play calling. And some of that is also Justin Fields just can't read a defense right now. It's all bad.
You also can't really lean on the run game when your defense has you down 4 scores early.
Yeah, the
because you don't have a
defense
deep.
is the worst.
We don't even have a defensive coordinator
Well,
right now. We didn't even touch on that yet.
You
Yeah.
can't rely on your run game or your passing game if your offensive line is made of Swiss cheese and tissue paper that's been left out in the rain. I mean,
It's all bad.
It's all
It's all crap.
It's all bad. All of this stuff was supposed to be addressed in the offseason, and we were told it was addressed in the offseason, and it's worse. It is somehow worse. You went out and you got guys that are supposed to fit your defensive scheme, and the defense is worse than last year. You go out and get guys that you like on your offensive line, and the offensive line is worse than last year. It is incomprehensible how we have reached this point.
Yep. Yeah, and we can talk more about that. Let's get to the last bit of news that happened this week before we get to some other big picture stuff. So the last thing that happened on Wednesday, by the way, all this stuff we talked about, like Braxton Jones, Justin Fields, and then now the resignation of
this was all before the game.
This all happened on Wednesday. It all happened in one day, people. Like I can't.
On Ryan Poles' birthday, no less.
On Ryan Poles' birthday. What a great birthday that must have been to go through all of this. You have the PR nightmare of your quarterback allegedly calling out your coach in the media. And then you have the whole Alan Williams situation where you have rumors about the feds being at Hallis Hall. You have the rumors about the feds raiding Alan Williams' house.
You had Peanut Tillman having a heart-to-heart with Matt Eberflus, who was crying through it.
Which all turned out to be BS, of course. So to recap things here, so Alan Williams, we know that he resigned as defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears on Wednesday. And this was labeled as a personal issue. I do use quotation marks because is definitely not your typical personal situation. It's a shady situation. But he's been out ever since after the Packers game. He's been away from the team because of a personal issue. And we haven't really gotten any details about that from the Bears. They're very, very quiet on this. Well, on Wednesday, we started to hear some rumors, and I did hear some rumors, and I did share that with you guys. I'm not going to get into what they specifically were because I think, could some of it be true? Maybe. But are we going to hear much? Misty, stop.
At this point, I doubt what you told me is true.
I doubt. Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. But clearly, there's more.
There was something. There's more than what the Bears are letting on. But let's just say the most salacious rumors that you may have heard if you were on Twitter, Bears Twitter, at any point on Wednesday. It seems like those aren't true.
Well, I think we can, because so many people on Twitter put those rumors out there. I think we can say what they.
I would rather not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, this all started with Bill Zimmerman tweeted out there that Alan Williams, he was in a situation that had nothing to do with his coaching or performance at his job, and that he wouldn't be a part of the Bears again because of what was going on, and that started the whole bunch of other stuff going down. There's a bunch of drama, like what's going on here, and we eventually get, I forget who tweeted it out, and these both turned out to be BS, but we get the tweets that Hallis Hall was raided by the FBI, and that Alan Williams' home was raided by the FBI as well. And
it was Sports Mockery that put that out first.
No, it wasn't. It was some other guy. I think he's a local.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, no, it was Sports Mockery. They are a Chicago Twitter account.
No, but they got that from.
It didn't start with them. They got it from whatever dude it was. We don't have to credit him.
I'm not going to credit him because
Let's not give him
I'm not going to give them because they're BS. They were BS, and he was the guy who also did the BS Charles Tillman rumors. Which,
right. Well, that's why I'm saying it. Like, hey, don't
was crying.
Take everything with a grain of salt. From that individual. But anyway,
you had all that firestorm going on Bears Twitter about the Alan Williams situation. You have a bunch of other guys that are connected on NFL Twitter basically saying that the Alan Williams situation, from what they're hearing, isn't good either. Guys like Brad Spielberger at PFF, Brett Coleman, they were all kind of alluding to it, that what they were hearing was that it didn't sound very good. So eventually Alan Williams, he resigns from his position as defensive coordinator. And the Bears say it's a personal issue. But here's why I knew right away that, outside of the fact that I was hearing some things, but here's how I knew right away that the whole personal issue thing was BS, is because
first of all, in their official statement on his resignation, the Bears did a one-sentence, Al Williams has resigned as defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. Like, if it was a true personal issue, didn't want to thank him for his time here. You didn't want to wish him well. If it's a health and family issue, which is what the resignation letter said, like, that should be the first red flag that there's more to the story here than just he's stepping away because of health and family. And then throughout the next couple days, anytime a coaching staff member was asked about Alan Williams, again, no one's like saying anything in terms of like thanking him for his time or wishing him well. It's just basically like, yeah, we're moving on to Kansas City. We're not talking about Alan Williams. So that was the other thing. And then on Sunday, eventually gets revealed that the Alan Williams situation, he resigned because of a issue where there was inappropriate conduct and HR is involved.
Yep.
So that's a lot, obviously, to go down in 1 week.
And to be clear, we don't know the nature of whatever this.
We don't know. Yeah.
We don't know, and the Bears are being quiet about it, which to a degree I get. It could be part of like some sort of settlement with him, or maybe they want to protect other individuals involved.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm sure we're gonna hear more throughout the next couple weeks. I'm sure about it, but it's not a good look, especially with everything else going on to start the year.
And on top of all that, like 2 days later, the Bears had like $100,000 in equipment stolen from Soldier Field.
I forgot about that too. Oh my God.
It's like,
yeah, mowers and gators, like people broke into
This
Soldier Field
team,
and stole all
guys.
that stuff. It's just,
I mean, anything that could go wrong has gone wrong for this team this year. It's incredible. It's incredible. The absolute just dumpster fire.
I do want to say, ladies, Nick and I are both single. If we are this dedicated to a sports franchise that is this terrible, we will be dedicated to you. Go find yourself a man that's a Bears fan or Cubs fan, or
we will be loyal.
We will be loyal until the end. You have no idea.
It will literally kill us.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those weeks where you really have to question things as a fan. Seriously.
Our sanity, management sanity.
I never thought it would reach Mark Trestman levels of bad again. But we're
here we are.
We're here in week 3.
5-6 years. When
I mean, even that was
almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. And even like that season, at least like the year before, they had some success and they had a really fun offense in 2013. And even in 2014, it took half the year before things went off the rails. Like, this went off the rails in like
week 2.5.
Literally in week 1, in the first half of week 1, this thing went off the rails. Just incredible. I've never seen an NFL team just completely just fall apart so quickly.
Well, I think
at all levels,
I think we should move on. Obviously, this is not going to get better this year. I think we can all see the bigger picture. This is not going to get any better. They're going to blow it all up. Quick yes or no question. Do we retain Ryan Poles? I say yes. Give him another year or two because he set up the draft and everything. What do you guys think?
Nick, you can go ahead first.
I don't know. I don't care. Fire him. Keep him on for another year. Whatever Kevin Warren wants to do. It's his guy. If he wants to fire him and bring in his guy, then do it. You know,
I mean, look,
it would be. I think it would be God, I cannot believe I'm saying this about the Bears, but it would be an attractive position if like Kevin Warren decided to clean house and was like, hey, we have all of this draft capital. We have probably the number 1 overall pick. If not the number 1 overall pick, number 2. It's very likely we get one of Caleb Williams or Drake May. So that would make Chicago potentially you got a ton of draft capital, a lot of cap space. Sure. GM would have a lot to play with here, but I don't know. I don't care. I just know we just need. We can't bring Flus back. I don't think we can. We can't bring Justin back and give him like what is like 3rd or 4th coaching staff and staff in 4 years. No, it's done.
Yeah, I mean, look, for Ryan Poles, like I lean towards just cleaning house altogether and letting Kevin Warren get his own guy because he's like the one guy in the building that I actually like somewhat trust. As long as he's the one making decisions and that George is completely out of it. Like, I don't want, by the way, like if they fire Flus and they completely clean house with Poles and Flus and all that stuff, and they get another search committee again, I am going to just, I don't know what I'll do, because the whole reason we're stuck in this mess is because they had that stupid search team led by Bill Polian, who hasn't been relevant in the NFL in 20 years. Like the last time Bill Polian was relevant at all in NFL discussions was when he was talking about Lamar Jackson having to switch to running back or wide receiver coming out of the draft. And that tells you all you need to know about Bill Polian, the fact that he thinks any running quarterback can't play quarterback. So, yeah, I mean,
well, we do know that Flus in that whole system there's no way they keep him.
No, I think
Flus,
Flus, there's no way. Poles, I mean, look, has he done a good job of resetting the cupboard, so to speak, in terms of draft picks and cap space? Yes, but from the resources that he has had to use, what has he truly done so far? Like the only truly positive move that I can think of is the DJ Moore trade. We're trading down. You got DJ Moore and Darnell Wright out of it. That's a great move. Like objectively, that is a fantastic move. But like, who else has he brought in that you can say has been a true difference maker on this roster? Like Tremaine Edmonds, the linebackers they brought in this offseason have done nothing for you so far.
That's the thing for me, though, is he brought those guys in because they were a scheme fit for Eberflus's defense. How about
I understand that, but there's a talent.
But I'm saying
as well.
Let him carry out his vision instead of having to abide by what his coach is scheming for.
Yeah, but that's always going to be the case. Every GM is going to follow. Like the head coach has a lot of pull with the roster decisions. Well, I don't know. I feel like Ryan Poles, I don't trust the talent evaluation. What has he done to really add talent to this roster? Like I said before, like you look at his draft record right now, like that first draft, Kyler Gordon, I think Kyler Gordon can be good, but he's hurt right now. We'll see. Jaquan Brisker has looked like a really underwhelming second round pick. I think he's a fine player, but like George Pickens was available. And, would have much rather have had George Pickens than Jaquan Brisker right now, especially since Pickens means no Chase Claypool trade, which Chase Claypool trade, just awful trade. And it's planning out this year. Who's the impact guy they brought on the defensive line? They've beefed up that unit with a bunch of day 2 picks, bunch of free agent signings. None of those guys have been impactful. I'm trying to think what else here. Like the Veals Jones pick in the 3rd round, just complete disaster. Like, I don't know. Just I like the overall strategy he's had, but I question the talent evaluation part of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's all kind of stuff we've been harping over.
And so, like, when you're making a decision of do we keep Poles or not, like, I don't know, do I trust, like, he's done a great job of resetting things, but do I trust him to build around the next Bears quarterback? Because that's what you have to think about here. Because, look, Justin Fields, I love the guy. I was a huge fan of him coming out of college. I thought he was going to be the dude, and he clearly isn't, which sucks. Like, I can't emphasize enough that it sucks that Justin Fields isn't the guy for the Bears, because we all thought he was going to be that. But at this point, your mindset right now, if you're George McCaskey, if you're Kevin Warren, has to be, do I trust Ryan Poles to be the GM that can build a winning roster around the next quarterback here? Do I trust him to get the next quarterback pick right? And if you have any questions about that, then you have to fire him. If you have any questions about his ability to build a roster around your next quarterback, I'm sorry, you're done. Bring in somebody else in. Because like Nick said, they have a great selling point to make here, right? Because you got 2 first-round picks that are probably going to be high first-round picks. You got the most cap space in the NFL next season. You can get whatever coach you want to get to come in here. Like, it can be an attractive position here, and you get to pick your coach and your quarterback. Like, not many jobs can make that offer to you, especially in a big market like Chicago.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some tough decisions here in the offseason, but in the nearer term, we got the Broncos coming into town. And again, I think I ruined the guess the line game. I'm sorry.
No, I had already seen the line. I think it's been going around on Twitter because people are just like shocked that this team gave up 70 and they're favored on the road. How awful are the Bears? Which they're pretty awful.
Pretty awful. So we got that to look forward to this Sunday.
I'll be at the game, by the way. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know. I'm looking.
Don't have
not
too
looking
much
forward
fun.
to it. We'll see what because they'll be serving us breakfast and lunch. So we'll see. We'll see what the Bears got in store for us there. Usually it's
Nice. You got to give us the full press
I
box
gotta
report.
give you the full press box report. Do my evaluations on that.
Nick, if you want, I'll let you dig in on the Blackhawks a little bit. And
Let's
then,
do it. The
get
least
wrapped up here,
dysfunctional franchise in the city,
which is shocking.
which is great. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the CHGO Blackhawks guys actually had a banner made that said Blackhawks least dysfunctional franchise in the city
September
September 2023.
Yeah.
It was really funny. Anyway, training camp kicked off. And Connor Bedard has been doing Connor Bedard things. There's an excitement around this team that is desperately needed. Like they have a chance to be. I'm sure you guys remember like the early 2010s when it was just like Blackhawks mania. They were winning cups left and right, and no other team was doing well. Really,
Yeah.
I think we're starting to see that come back around. So throughout camp, the top line, Connor Bedard's line is. He's been centering Taylor Hall and Ryan Donato, who came in as a free agent this offseason. That's what they played. They had a scrimmage yesterday that got a lot of attention. It was basically Team Bedard versus Team Reichel, and Reichel is going to be the second line center, like I mentioned last week. They're moving him to center this year. He's going to be centering Khrushchev and Athanasiou. And apparently great performances from both of them. Bedard and Reichel were the two best players on the ice. They both had 2 goals. By all accounts, they looked great, which is what you want to see. You really want your young stars looking like stars. And that's, Connor Bedard has been doing Connor Bedard things. Taylor Hall has looked good. I also really like that Bedard and Reichel had the goals. Like one of the worries that I think some people had is if you bring in a guy like Taylor Hall, you worry that Connor Bedard might. And we'll see how this plays out in the season because there isn't a whole much that you can gain from a scrimmage. But there's like this worry that, he might try to defer to Taylor Hall too much to take the shots rather than, Connor Bedard taking them themselves. But no, Taylor Hall was feeding them and Connor Bedard was shooting and he was scoring. So that's good. Quick piece of front office news. Associate, I don't know if this was his exact position. I was trying to figure this out. I couldn't tell. But Associate GM Jeff Greenberg, he was like really big. He basically built up the front office's analytics department. Was hired by the Detroit Tigers actually to be their general manager. So that's pretty interesting. But apparently he did a really good job. Like the Blackhawks analytics department is taken really big strides over the past couple of years. A lot of that was his doing. And I think it's a great sign when other professional sports teams poach your guys. So that's a good sign. Jordan, did you have something to say? Or
No.
Okay, you looked like you had something to say. All right.
No, I coughed again.
Gotcha.
All I'll say is that one clip I saw go around, Connor Bedard looks
oh my god,
legit. That's all I'll say. I'm really excited.
If you just need like a pick me up, go watch Connor Bedard score. Just go watch his goals because they're all just beautiful. I'm really excited. We got preseason games on Thursday against the Blues, in Minnesota against the Wild on Saturday, and then back at home against Detroit on Sunday. So we'll actually get to see Connor Bedard against some NHL level talent, hopefully, which I'm very excited about. So we'll have recaps for at least some of those games next week.
Yeah, I did. I forgot about this when you asked me if I had anything to say, but I did see a report. Have something to say. I did. I just forgot it. I did see a report from, I forget who we were interviewing, but they said that one of the things that has impressed but also scared them a little bit about Connor Bedard is that he'll pass way earlier than they're expecting him to because he has such good vision of the ice that he can anticipate where people are going to be and where the puck needs to go. And it's getting there quicker than anybody's anticipating. So he's like, we're having to adjust around that, which great problem to have if you got a guy that has such good vision on the ice that he can just see everything developing before it happens. But just thought that was an interesting note. Definitely something to look out for.
Help us, Connor Bedard. You're our only hope.
And we're not just talking about Blackhawks fans. No, we're talking about residents of
We're talking
Illinois.
about the city, the entire city.
Oh God, it's it's rough.
Yep.
Anyway, that'll ending on a little bit of a positive note to wrap up all the depressing stuff that's been going on.
We didn't even cover half the depressing stuff.
No,
for real.
That's how bad
We don't have
it's
time.
been. Yeah.
We
After
actually
that-
had a whole list of head coaching candidates to go through, and we realized we'll save
we'll do
that
it
for
later.
another day.
Honestly, after that Bears segment, being able to say Connor Bedard's name was like heroin. It was just it's just like
We got when's official opening day for hockey? About a month from now.
10-10, I believe.
Oh wow! So a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So,
In Pittsburgh against Sidney
we'll have a
Crosby
little
on
bit of a
ESPN.
reprieve.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's about time we transition into the 180s. I don't think we did a 4 stars of the week last week because we were all just so pissed off at everybody.
We've been kind of
nobody deserved it.
We've been kind of lacking with that, and no one has deserved it. So we'll hopefully get back on that soon.
We'll do it this week. I know
we're gonna protest and say no 4 stars of the week until
y'all don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, like I said, Seiya's been doing really well. Miles Mastroboni has been doing well. There are some Cubs players that are deserving. We can throw Connor Bedard back up there for the scrimmage performance. Yeah. We got some options.
This is something we didn't think about. We have to have 4 athletes every week deserving of it. This is something we didn't think through.
It's a tough thing.
And this is Chicago. Like, what did we expect?
Yeah. But anyway, if we do have 4 stars of the week to bring up, it'll be on the website, 4starpodchi.com. Got our other blog posts up there. But with all that being said, we'll transition into our complete 180s where we each get 3 minutes to talk about anything that we feel like. And Andrew, you're up. Floor is yours.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about some college football that happened over the past weekend. It was a pretty loaded schedule, but one of the biggest games was obviously Colorado going up against Oregon. Turned out the game itself was very underwhelming because Oregon just kicked the living shit out of Colorado in this game. Like, just really put it to them. Shows that Colorado's got a little bit of a ways to go, despite all the hype they got. But what I want to talk about here is the whole narratives going around, because so there was a video of Dan Lanning, who's the coach of Oregon, in his pregame speech where he's talking about basically how Colorado, they're in this for clicks, we're in this for wins and all that stuff. And a whole bunch of people jumped on that. And you have on one side, you have all those people who already don't like Deion Sanders at Colorado anyway, who are basically like, yeah, that's how you humble them, show them what's up and all that stuff. And then you have the others who are like going after Dan Lanning and his speech, basically saying that, like, you know, wow, that's really corny. Like, you guys are doing this for clicks too, obviously. And I'm just sitting here just like, hold up. This is all good stuff here. Why can't we have really fun rivalries in college football anymore? Why does everything have to be so watered down and boring? And it just annoys me, the entire narrative surrounding Colorado, with people getting pissed off at Deion Sanders for whatever reason, because he's decided to do something differently, or whether it's coded. I don't want to accuse anyone of this, but whether it's maybe coded racism on their part for constantly criticizing for doing things his own way. Like, Deion Sanders is good for the sport of college football. Mm-hmm. Like, he brings an excitement, he brings a flair, he's doing something different. He's putting a program that has typically never been on the map. He's putting them on the map. Like, these are all exciting things, right? You want to have a personality like Deion Sanders in your sport. And the fact that you have so many people who just want to tear him down for no reason other than the fact that he's doing things a little bit differently and he's taking advantage of this of NIL and all the other stuff going on really pisses me off. And then on the other hand of this, like of course you want your head coach of the opposing team like Oregon to be pissed off at Deion Sanders to get his to get his players riled up like that. Like, you want competitive rivalries in your sport. Like, that's what makes compelling television, is players generally not liking each other, coaches genuinely not really liking each other, trash talking each other in the media, trash talking each other in their pregame speeches. Like, that's all fun. Nothing that he said in his pregame speech is anything different than anything that I've ever heard from any coach at any level that I played at when you're going into a big game or a big rivalry game. None of that's like any different. So I think people need to chill the heck out, have some fun, and just enjoy what you're getting from this product here, right? That's all I can say, because anyone who's complaining about anything that happened
between those two this week is just you're a crybaby and you need to just shut up. Like, it's seriously, have some fun for once in your life. It's college football. It's a stupid college football game. Like, let them talk trash at each other. That's what we all enjoy. So, I don't know. Lighten up, you pieces of poop.
Well said. No, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think Colorado was – I think I've heard of them being on national television like twice before Dion got there. I can tell you I never wanted to watch Colorado until Dion got there. He's making it exciting. He's bringing eyes
they
to
have
the program.
celebrities at every game. Yeah,
that Colorado State game from 2 weeks ago, Jordan, you were at work. We watched the end of it. That was when I was in Arizona going to visit. That was one of the best college football games I've ever watched. It was must-watch TV.
TCU was must-see TV. That was a great game too. It's just been great television. I don't know why we can't just enjoy it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, sticking in the vein of college football, I'd like to think I'm about to make Nick angry.
You might not. We'll see.
But I might not. We'll see. So for those of you that may have not watched in the past, Nick went to the University of Illinois, and another reason, ladies, he's single, you should date him. He's loyal to a football program that sucks.
I'm loyal to two football programs that suck.
Yeah, consistently. So Nick will always, on Saturdays, he'll message our group chats like, just so you know, U of I's on TV. I'm about to be really annoying for the next 3 hours. And I will watch the U of I games just so that I can laugh at Nick. And eventually it got to the point he's like, all right, you need to pick a college football team because you have no skin in this game right now. And so I got to thinking, and I'm like, all right, you're right. I do need to pick a college football team. So U of I is already taken. Can't do that. Notre Dame, that's Tig. Can't do that. Who cares about the Pac-12? I started thinking, are there any SEC teams I like? No, I don't have any pull there. I don't want to be a Georgia bandwagon fan. Alabama's annoying and is already taken by our friend Parker, who is also annoying. Shout out, Parker. I love you. But you're annoying when it comes to Alabama football.
He's actually one of the more reasonable Alabama fans that I've met.
Is, and he's still annoying about Alabama. I'm kidding. Parker, I love you. I'm giving you shit on here. Clemson, no. Tennessee, no. Like, all right, really? I'm a Midwestern guy at heart. I got to stick with the Big Ten, right? Don't want to do Michigan because I grew up in Illinois. Muck Fishigan. Ohio State, nah. I get it, Justin Fields, but no. Purdue, who gives a shit about Indiana? Just in general. I mean, you drive through there, and that's all it's good for. So, Northwestern, they're garbage. I'm not trying to be a bandwagon fan, but that's too much garbage for me. I can't do it. So I got to thinking, and I finally made my decision. I'm going to go with the alumni of the Watt brothers, University of Wisconsin, go Badgers. That's my college football team.
Okay. Well, they've also sucked to start the year,
but they've been good the last few years. So I'm not totally that's one of the reasons I like it too, is I'm not they've been good. They've been in the top 25 a few times in the last few years. I know they're not right now. So I'm not totally jumping on a bandwagon.
Also, Parker's a Wisconsin fan too. He likes Wisconsin.
Yeah, but he went to Alabama, and that's more his team.
Okay.
I can kind of claim this. And I lived in Wisconsin for 3 years, so it's not like it's completely out of nowhere.
All right. I don't despise it.
I was hoping
I don't despise it. I would go to a game up there. They got a cool stadium.
Hey,
I've never been to Madison, and there's awesome. A lot of things I never did when I was living in Wisconsin that I wished I would have. Going up to the Northwoods, going to Minocqua, going to Madison for a UW football game is definitely one of them. So
I've been to a Wisconsin basketball game. Not the same as a football game, obviously, but that was a fun experience. And yeah, Madison on a weekend night is
it's a good time from what I've heard.
Good time.
Again, I never did it.
Pretty good time.
I worked too much, but I heard it was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. Now I got to go buy Wisconsin stuff and wear the W everywhere. Not actually. I'm not gonna. I mean, I might get a hat or like a jersey at some point, but I'm not gonna go that far into it right off the bat. But anyway, Nick, your turn.
All right. For my segment this week, I wanna address this to a certain someone. Mr. Travis Kelce. It has come to my attention that you may be seeing somebody new. Somebody, I don't know, she's a singer or something. I don't know. I don't think she's not important. Whatever. Look, personally, you can do what you want in your personal life, all right? You're a millionaire, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Living the life. I get it. But I need to have a very serious discussion with you. Like last week, you were playing the Bears. Okay? You're basically playing a JV football team, right? 7 receptions, 69 yards. Nice. A touchdown. And most importantly, 19 fantasy points for me last week. See, Travis, I'm concerned that this new girlfriend of yours is going to impact your fantasy performance, and we just cannot have that. All right? I have $20 riding on the league that you're in, and I would very much like to win at least some of that money back. I probably won't because the rest of my team kind of sucks, but here's the thing. You were my keeper. You were my saving grace. You were out for me week 1, and I lost, okay? I'm not saying that's Taylor's fault, but I just need to make sure that on behalf of everybody that has you on a fantasy team, that used a first-round pick on you, that used a keeper on you, I just want to have a heart-to-heart to know that we are on the same page and she's not going to affect your performance, okay? Have fun and go score some touchdowns for me next week. All right, that's it. I'm done.
It's a very low-key 180 from you.
That is not going where I thought it was going to go. I was so ready, and I was hoping for a Swiftie rant.
Oh, God, no.
That would have been funny.
No, I'm not trying to die, Jordan.
Have you seen some of this? These people have made a birth compatibility chart based on the star signs of Taylor Swift and what they think Travis Kelce might be, because they know his birthday, but they don't know the time he was born, so they can't do the whole birth chart. But they're already doing that stuff.
Swiftie Twitter was learning football during the Bears-Chiefs game.
His jersey sales went up 400% on Sunday. 400%.
So not to go into a ton of detail, but I have some personal experience with some Swifties. I'm telling you, they didn't know what a football was on Sunday. Within give it a week, they'll be able to read defenses better than Fields. I'm not kidding. They're intense. They're too intense.
They are. I can confirm. Confirm. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, Nick.
Crazy.
I've heard some things.
It's something.
Well, before Swifties come and break down our doors,
I don't think we said anything bad.
No, it was veiled. It was veiled. But yeah, I think about time to wrap up. We're about at the hour mark. So thank you all so much for watching us complain about our favorite teams, because it seems like that's all we can do right now. They're not giving us much to be happy about.
Except the Hawks. Least dysfunctional franchise.
But
2023.
Season hasn't started. Like,
just wait for the game
starts.
It's they made the CHGO guys made this point on the Blackhawks podcast. It's not most functional. It's least dysfunctional.
Oh God. You know what? I just thought about the Bulls are coming up too. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's going to be another train wreck.
I wasn't going to talk about it. I wasn't going to bring it up because that's just going to be more depression. We have one beacon of hope, or at least something that isn't going to crush our hopes and dreams. And it's
these next few months are going to be brutal, guys. That's all I'm going to say. with the Bears, with the Bulls coming up, it's going to be rough.
And the Cubs are going to make the playoffs, and they're going to prove us all wrong. And everything's going to be sunshine, rainbows, and unicorn farts. It's going to be great. Anyway.
I'm just so tired, guys. I'm just so tired.
Really, this whole podcast is just a cry for help.
This is just a therapy session.
You're allowing us to entertain you by therapizing to each other. So thank you for that. It's great. We love it here. Anyway, I'm Jordan. Joined as always by Andrew and Nick. Check us out on Twitter at 4starpodchi and our website at 4starpodchi.com. You can find Nick on Twitter at Endicola21 and Andrew at AJFriedman25. Check out his other work for the Bear Report at 247sports.com, where he does, I can't remember the name of your trench thing right now.
Tracking the trenches.
Tracking the trenches. I knew it was alliterative. Tracking the trenches. It's great stuff. Honestly, I'm not just saying that because he's on the podcast. I have been paying attention to it for years now because it's good stuff. If you like tracking the line reports, he's also on the Pick for Polls podcast. Ty will hopefully be back next week. Fingers crossed. I miss him. We love you. For those of you that are listening, we made hearts in all of our cameras with our hands. Yeah. So anyway, God, we're all broken right now. Thank you for watching and listening. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff so that we can enter more people's ears and eyes. And we'll be back ranting and raving again next week. Hope you have a good one.